Welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. I'm Bernie Flowers, one of Uncle Sam's wayward children. I believe that our country's best days are still in front of us, but if those best days are to come, we need to change the direction of the country now before it's too late. I intend to talk about important topics every week in hopes of helping to improve our country and our way of life. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get started. Our guest for episode 20 is my friend Renzo Rodriguez. He's a finance major at the University of Maryland, College Park. After completing his degree in finance, he plans to attend law school. Renzo joined the Montgomery County Young Republicans in May of 2023 and quickly became the group's vice president. Before joining the MCYRs, Renzo was involved with the recent protests at the Montgomery County School Board to help bring back the opt-out provision for parents. The opt-out provision would allow parents to opt out of curriculum that they consider to be sexualization of their children. The schools are forcing gender ideology lessons on elementary school kids, and Renzo thought this was evil. As a result, he contacted the Republican Party in the county and noticed that he could help. He joined the MCYRs with one goal in mind: to organize them and help lead the fight against the Montgomery County School Board. Since then, he has helped grow the MCYRs from just 3 members to 80 people as of last week. Fox News even covered them. Without any further ado, let's welcome my friend, Renzo Rodriguez. Renzo, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on, Bernie. It's an honor to be on this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to hang out with an old man. I got some questions for you. You ready?
Of course.
What have the Montgomery County Young Republicans done that has made them so successful in growing their numbers so quickly?
It really comes down to just doing something that no one else has been doing, which is being fearless when it comes to this topic. People respect those who are fearless, who are not afraid to stand up for people's rights. And usually you see the party very afraid and timid when it comes to addressing these issues. We did a complete opposite stance. We decided that we must be fearless, we must be active, and we must be in the front lines and show people that if you are like us, we can win. So we immediately started having something called a mass meeting. People usually like to hang out at bars and then talk among friends, and hopefully that can bring young people to the group. We decided instead of talking to young people, let's talk to the people themselves. So we started having our events where we talk about the school boards, what's being taught in the schools, what we can do about it, and why it's important for us to take action now and not wait for someone to save us in the future. Because if we build a movement right now, that means in the future, we have enough people to actually make changes. We went from 3 people to 80 because of that very simple reason. We are the only people who are fearless in this issue, who are going to talk about the issue without any like apology. We just say what we believe and people love it. Even those who might not be completely with us, they see our passion and they want to be on our team.
Outstanding. Another question for you. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Why are so many young men becoming conservatives?
I think this comes down to the fact that the left, for some reason, likes to step on men and like push them down. And there's a new song that came out. You probably heard it. It's called "Richmond, North of Richmond."
Oh, yeah.
And right in that lyric, the guy was talking about why so many men are committing suicide. And it's because the elites keep trying to push their boots on men, and that's why they feel so strangled and want to no longer be living. Yet people on the right tell them something different. They say that you have a purpose, you have a mission, and we give them a mission, we give them responsibility. Conservatives in general have very strong beliefs, while leftists, in my opinion, have very soft beliefs. And when you have soft beliefs, you don't have any leadership, any like people wanting to fight for something. And the right in general looks at men as something that people who matter. And that on the left, they call it toxic masculinity or toxic people in general. We, on the other hand, say to them, embrace your strengths and be a leader. And that really appeals to young men, especially those who have no path in life at the moment because of lack of job or lack of money, because most people do not have that kind of money. But you tell them, here's a mission for you to attain something great, you just get so many men to come to you, and they end up passionately fighting alongside you. And that's what is striking, bringing so many conservative young guys to our side. It's just that.
Outstanding. Next question. What are your plans at the University of Maryland?
I decided for the University of Maryland, I'm going to focus less on politics and more focus on how can I help out the young guys in that school who are lost. And I think what really helped men in the past and men now is learning how to learning how to be athletic, how to fight, and community. I really wanted to get a lot of young guys into the MMA thing, how to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. So it's something I do, and I really like that sport a lot. I'm thinking once I go to school is to help these guys find a community that is healthy. There's a community on campus already that's about partying, drugs, sleeping around, but it's not very healthy. It doesn't really heal the soul. I want something different. Give them a place for them to work out, be strong, be confident, and also let's not in the sense have a political mission, because sometimes politics and school don't really mix well, but it's having a sense of belonging and building yourself up to be strong, to be like a almost like a soldier for your own life. That's important. I think I want to be able to help young guys in that, especially how to work out, to go to the gym, to learn how to fight, and then also how to in this hiking having community.
I like what you have to say. Got another question for you. You were born in South America. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I was born in Peru, and it's honestly one of the recently been really thinking about that reality. Like I come from a country that's very poor, a country where the men there, if you don't get the produce of this country where you can get a job and live a decent life. Over there is basically where I grew up, the city I grew up in. It's just full of gangs, like mafia, people who are killers. Like I know people in my family who know friends or our family members who were murdered in a place I was raised in. I got lucky that I left. I came to this country, but it gives you perspective. Like here, the poverty here is mostly people are living in apartments with running water and nice cars and nice phones. Over there, there is no food, there's no water. You just die from starvation. And people over there kill because they have no other choice in life. And when I went to the poorest parts of my country, I saw houses with roads made out of dirt and homes made from metal scraps. So it really gives you perspective of what a country looks like when it's in a third world and what this country looks like here. And this country has issues, but it gives us perspective to understand that it can get so much worse, and if we don't reverse what we're doing as a country, one hand and into that third world position. So it's very much like important for everything I do in my life is knowing where I come from and where I am now.
Wow. Let's talk more about that. What do you like so much more about living in America?
Number one probably is that there is there is actually hope here than a lot of places, like a lot of the areas in Peru. Like here, you have the freedom of speech, even if it's being stomped down every single day. But you have the ability to talk against this government, right? And Peru, you basically don't have politics because if you don't got time for that. Like you have to worry about the gangs, about the crime, about getting robbed. You don't got time to worry about the bigger issues in your country. And over there are some places that you're born in, like outside the city, you have no voice at all. Here, at least you can have a voice. You can build something. You also have the jobs here. You also have like a good economy. You have so many opportunities that you do not have in other countries, which is so important and is very powerful. But I think the most important thing, besides the money aspect, is the history. The fact that this country was built through a revolution that inspired the rest of the world to fight against empires, to me is incredible. In the history of what we came from a bunch of farmers who rised up against the British Empire, it's a very powerful story. I think it should be told a lot more in our schools how important it is that even like a small group of untrained soldiers can take out the biggest empire in history.
Absolutely outstanding, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. So, with that said, I've said enough. The floor, good sir, is yours. What would you like to say to the people?
I think for a lot, if there's a young man listening, I think guys should start to build your own communities around your neighborhood. Like that, I think I told you about starting at my university. Start that in your community. Get a group of friends, work out together, diet together, learn how to do Muay Thai, self-defense, become strong and become capable of different skills. Because right now we're living at a time where men basically have no purpose and no mission. And more young guys are depressed. And there's so many of those people in our community who are suffering. And if we can just go give them community with just this hiking group of dudes who want to do MMA, you will become happier because you have something to strive for and you have goals in that's healthy. There's so many people who work 9 to 5 jobs every single day and they feel like they have no purpose. So build this kind of group, build these group of athletic guys who go out, work out, build a camaraderie because we need that. We need community. Go to church if you want, if you are religious. But having that group of people who we can rely on is important. I want to build it in my school because I know it's important. Even if you're not full on conservative or left, is having this community builds so much camaraderie and gives you a reason to live. And you should definitely do that.
Sounds great, man. I've got one more for you. By the way, do you have a good word for the Spanish speakers in our audience?
Yes, let me see what I can say. Por mucho tiempo, nuestra raza sufrió por la pobreza, no tenía plata y porque nosotros no tenemos una identidad en este país. Pero nuestra historia viene de la historia católica. Y si nosotros nos unimos como una gente, podemos hacer tantas cosas buenas en nuestro país. Podemos arreglar nuestras comunidades, parar la violencia de los barrios y de los pandillas y un día lograr un sueño bien fuerte con nuestra gente, porque nosotros tenemos tanta fuerza, nuestra gente de ser trabajadores y un día vamos a lograr todo lo que nosotros queremos en nuestros sueños. Y que un día en el futuro regresamos a nuestros países y arreglar nuestros países también. Arreglando El Salvador, Guatemala, México, Perú y todo Sudamérica. Pero todo eso va a pasar nomás. Nosotros como una raza trabajamos juntos, trabajamos fuertes y nunca perdemos la confianza en nuestro propio poder.
So that means in English. What did you just say?
Basically, I just told them that no matter how much hardship we went through in the past, no matter what we've had to suffer in the past, we as a people can achieve greatness if we work together. If we get rid of all the division among us, we can clean up our hoods, we can clean up our areas, and we can make this country greater and make a community greater. And so that one day we can return to our nations and make our own nations and our own families back there greater, and we can live at peace once again.
Renzo, it is impressive to me that such a young man has so much wisdom. You, sir, are an old soul. Thank you for being on my podcast, and thank you for taking the time to spend a little bit of time with your old friend. You take care of yourself,
Thank you very
man.
much.
Yes,
You
sir.
too. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's about it for now. This has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast, produced in association with Liberty Arise Media and Fallback Productions and other podcasters. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast and to these channels. Be sure to get your copy of my new book, Black Values Matter, available on Amazon or as an ebook on Audible and Apple Books. And remember, it's okay to disagree, but if we want our country to prosper, we must insist on unity, transparency, and civility from ourselves and our fellow citizens. Thanks for listening to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. See you next week.